have for today's subject motion blur and how you can use it in your advantage. As we know, the drones themselves, they have very wide area in focus when you're flying, just because of how small the sensors are. Even in this, when it is 1-inch sensor, it's not gonna give you that much of subject separation, and you will need to plan your shots accordingly. And today I'm mostly talking about techniques when you go circling your target. Let's say this microphone is my target, and I would like to separate that, but also show it from different angles, but also a little bit show you the surroundings where I am at. So I'll just need to go closer and then go around and keep the drone pointing at it at all times. And this will give me nice motion blur, but also separate this target from the surroundings. Now you can use also master shots for this, but why you would like to learn to do this in manual, which just sticks? Well, let me tell you. I would like to show something at there, but this is point of interest. I'm gonna go around my point of interest, then I'm gonna open it, the shot, and start flying towards another target or another place which is connected to this target, which is good starting point to tell my story. You know, it's very simple movements. It's opposite directions with these sticks. And also, more you will give the movement, the more power and speed it will give in that direction which is connected to that way of moving the stick naturally. But sometimes you might want to go start from closer and then go backwards a little bit while you go sideways, or you might want to go forwards while you go sideways. I have been training mostly, well, basically only in 4K 30 frames per second, and it is really difficult, but in the way, while it is difficult, it also does give you more motion blur. And that's problematic when you make mistakes. It is very visible because everything goes into porridge. Well, you might want to just have something to be in porridge and what you want to be in target to be clear. So you will have to, especially when you go from circle to pan, you will really have to concentrate of slowing down and then use the speed which will keep everything clear in the image. So if you decide to use the kind of classical 180 shutter rule, then you are kind of stuck to that. But also a little bit going slower or faster might give you some advantages. I've used 180 shutter rule and also it is difficult, but once I've really nailed the shots and do that several times, time after time, you know, basically, why would I like to fly the drone It's something that I will do for filming for money, for example, but most of all, it is for fun. And I also want to be as good pilot as I possibly can. Automated modes are great, but learning to use these and see how it changes, how this moves, and also by changing the different modes, learning to also really see where your drone is going, because sometimes you will have to take the obstacle avoidance off in order to be able to fly the way that you would like to fly. So you will have to find a way to see where a drone is going, and in that way it's good to be familiar, especially when you're starting out, to be in open space where there's not so many hazards around you. So that, but also when you find a new location, always learn the dangerous places at first. Now, so that I would not just be talking in the studio, I have made some shots for you in different locations and talking a little bit about how I'm going to approach that place and how I would like to make it really work for you guys. But I'm gonna fly on that quite normal, dull field, and here's my approach of how I'm making shots, how I'm approaching this kind of normal scenery, which is nice, by the way, but it's just, I think I'll need to find an angle to get what I want to. I've tried some other pieces now before I go a little bit more in today's theme, where I'm thinking how I'm kind of developing my skills as a drone pilot and an artist who is telling stories with videos and images, and how to make myself more kind of appealing in people's eyes. How can I tell story with my way of flying, so that you will follow the flight, and while I'm flying you will kind of be rewarded with surprises and nice framings between the shots. Uh, I'm not using any automated modes. I'm using neutral when I have all of the sensors on the drone. That's something what I like about this drone to have. And then I'm just using these sticks to keep the drone in the movements what I would like it to move. And then I can also change from one subject to another quite quickly, without need to kind of stop tracking something and then move your tracking somewhere. I know that there's a great place for that kind of shots too, but I'm trying to avoid automatic moves in this kind of shootings. In some places, if I would have like a client who would really want to have something exactly in frame, I would probably use some of those automated modes in order for drone to lock in some places and then go around. But I also enjoy the moments when I can actually achieve that with drone. So let's get these things going and see what we will get. I'll just have to wait for a while. Yeah, it's waking up. There's not so much battery, but I think I can do this flight. I'm just gonna explore that field and use that road and do some safe movements around those places. And maybe if I will have time to use that hill in some way, approach or move away from the field, or go from that field and capture that castle.